Hey guys, today we are talking about lesson 13.3, area of combined rectangles. Today we are just going to take what we did on Friday one step further. All we will be doing is when we see a figure like this, is we are going to be separating it out into two different rectangles and then adding them together after we find the area. So let's go ahead and get started. Now, when you see a figure like this, you can separate it in more than one way, and we'll talk about that here in just a second. But the one thing you really need to make sure that you do is make sure that you find that length of the rectangle that you are going to find the area of and the width. There are a lot of dimensions written around this figure. And so it's really important that you choose the right information to use. So let's look at this one here. If I'm trying to find the area of this figure over here with the rose garden and the herb garden, I'm going to first choose to do one of the two rectangles. So I'm going to decide just off the bat here, I'm going to do this one, this rectangle here. So I need to make sure that I choose the right dimensions of just that rectangle. So I can see that the length of it is 8 meters by, now the width of it is going to be this 3 meters. Okay, and I know that because if I'm just looking at just this rectangle, if I were to isolate just this rectangle, it's 8 by 3. Okay, this 4 would only tell me about half of the length because 4 plus 4 would be 8. Okay, and this 7 goes too far. The 7 would take me all the way down to here, so I know it's not that one. So just being a little bit aware of the two dimensions that you're going to use to find the area is really important, making sure that you just slow your brain down a little bit and try to find the right numbers there. Okay, so we have 8 meters by 3 meters. And simply just to find the area, it's no different than yesterday. Base times height or length times width. 8 times 3 gives me 24. And again, we're finding area, so we need to have meters squared. Okay, and for the sake of this assignment, I'm going to go ahead and put it right down here. That's the area of the rose garden. Okay, then I'm going to erase my work up here so I have a little bit more space. And now I'm going to be looking at this herb garden here. Okay, I've got 4. I'm looking at this whole section right here. And I've got 4 by 4. Okay, I've got 4 meters times 4 meters. I didn't choose the 7 because the 7 goes all the way up into the rose garden. The 7 meters is the length of this whole side right here. And that would be too high. Okay, and so then I would just have to do, I'm just looking at finding the area of this section. I already found the area of this one up here. So I'm doing 4 times 4 gives me 16. Meters times meters gives me meters squared. So my area is 16 square meters. Okay, now I am not done. I have found the area of both of those figures. And my final step now is just to add them together. So over here, I'm going to do that vertically. 6 plus 0, or 6 plus 4 is 10. Drop my 0. Carry my 1. 2 plus 1 plus 1 is 4. So we end up with 40 square meters. Okay, now I want to show you one more thing here with this before we move on. If we did not have this dotted line right here to show us where to separate the two things, the two shapes, we could have drawn a line right here. I just want to show you, okay, we could separate them out right there too. So we could find the area of this rectangle right here, which would be 7 by 4. Okay, and that would give me 28 meters squared. Okay, and then this rectangle right here, I know the length right here is 4 and the height is 3. So 3 times 4, which would give me 12 meters squared. And then if I were to go through and add those together to find the total area, 8 plus 2 is 10. And 2 plus 1 is 4. So I would still end up with the same answer. So when you don't have that already divided up part and you have to decide where you're going to divide up the two shapes, you'll find the same answer either way as long as you make sure you're using the right dimensions. Like for this one here, not choosing the 8, knowing that the 8 goes all the way across there. All right, so let's go ahead and move on over here to our next page, page 730. Let's do one more example really quick. And in this example, I'm going to show you two different ways that you could find the answer to this. Okay, well, actually a third way, because we've talked about how you can split it up in more than one way. Down here, they've decided to split it up for you, A and B here. However, if you wanted to, you could have split it up like this. Okay, so it could work either way and do 24 by 9 and 8 by 16. But the one down here has a splitting it up like this. So the dimensions, let's first look at this A. The dimensions, we have 8 feet wide and 9 feet tall. So 8 by 9. Okay, we know that 8 times 9 is 72 feet squared. Okay. Now this other one, B, we've got 16 by 17. Now, I know that I'm using 16 because I don't want to go farther this way. I only want to find the area of this rectangle. I've already covered the A. Okay, so now I'm doing 16 times 17. And that's going to be easiest if we do it vertically. I know 6 times 7 is 42. Dropping my 2, carrying my 4. 7 plus 1 is, or 7 times 1 is 7. Plus 4 is 11, so I'm going to put my 1s down here. Drop a 0 to hold that place value. And now I've got 1 times 6. Crossing off that 4, so I don't think I need to add it in. 1 times 6 is 6. 1 times 1 is 1. And then I just add those together. 2 plus 0 is 2. 6 plus 1 is 7. 1 plus 1 is 2. So now I've got 272 feet squared for my second rectangle. So then I finally here have to just find the sum of the two areas. So we've got 72. Plus 272. Okay, and again, I'll be doing that vertically. So 272 plus 72. 2 plus 2 is 4. 7 plus 7 is 14. 2 plus 1 is 3. So my final answer should be 344 square feet. Okay, now there's one more way, and this final way that I'm going to show you here. If it does not make sense to you, don't use it. If it does make sense to you, great, you're welcome to use it. But it's finding the area of two rectangles using subtraction. So what you actually will do is you will have to envision that this is one full rectangle. And that's why they drew in the square right here. So then you find the area of this big rectangle as though it is one big full rectangle. So you would do 24 as the length all the way across, and then 17 as the height. Okay, and since those are two double-digit numbers, I actually am going to do that vertically. Okay, so we'll go ahead and find that area. I'm going to put my 17 over there. And 7 times 4 is 28. 7 times 2, I get 14, plus 2 is 16. dropping my 0 to hold that place value. 1 times 4 is 4, and 1 times 2 is 2. So then I'm going to add those together. 8 plus 0 is 8. 6 plus 4 is 10. 2 plus 1 plus 1 is 4. Okay, so I have 408 feet squared. I'm going to erase my work right there. So I have space now. And then instead of adding anything to it, I've found the area of a bigger amount than what we actually have. So I'm going to have to subtract out this rectangle that I put in there. So it shows me right here that this is an 8 by 8 actually square, not rectangle. So I've got 8 times, oh, I don't need to write that right there. 8 times 8. And I know that 8 times 8 is 64. Okay, so now, again, like I said, instead of adding them together, we're subtracting out this part that we kind of just imagined to be there. So now I have 408 minus 64, and I will do that vertically over here. Okay, 8 minus 4 gives me 4. I cannot take 6 from 0, so I'm going to borrow from the 4. Make that a 3, add that whole over here. We've got 10 minus 6 is 4, and then dropping down our 3, we get 344 square feet. So you get the same answer. I want to reiterate really quickly. If this part does not make sense to you, do not use it. Just find the area by adding two separate rectangles together. However, if it does make sense, you are more than welcome to use it. In your homework today, you will just need to do, let me see here, numbers 2 through 5. So let me know if you have any questions. Have a good day.